job is finally done. Half the battle's really won. The sun's gonna shine in my backyard again. It's always dark before the dawn, and it truly won't take long. The sun's gonna shine in my backyard again.
How can you eat to that?
Who'd want to?
They're very good, Linda.
Thanks. Sam Cousin says they're gonna make it big sooner than we think. They cut a demo last week and Sam sent it to Nashville.
Who's Sam Cousins?
He's part owner of the discotheque where the Toothpick plays. He says that they got the new sound that's gonna be heard in high places.
High places? Mountains?
You know what I mean. He says that Mel and the boys should be signing a contract inside of 2 weeks.
That's wonderful.
Anybody want my pickle?
Are you asking a question, or is that what they're playing?
Can I help?
You can unplug us, sweetheart.
Very good, fellas.
Thank you.
I understand you guys are close to signing a recording contract.
Oh, that's Sam talking big again. It doesn't mean anything.
Say, Mr. Dixon, you should hear our sound in the club.
Yeah, why don't you bring your chick down some weekend?
Right now, his chick is worried you guys are going to be late for class. Now, let's go.
Did you know that Alexander Hamilton was blackmailed for messing with another guy's chick?
Oh.
No, it's true, it's true. And there was talk that he embezzled a little to pay off the blackmailer.
Then how come he raised a statue in the park downtown?
Yeah, and they got his picture on a $10 bill.
Well, he cleared himself by proving he paid the blackmailer out of his own pocket. People who thought like Hamilton were given a certain name.
Lovers, huh?
Monarchists.
Right.
You mean there were Americans who dug all that king and queen jazz? But I thought that's what the war was all about.
Well, these people were for making their families and friends the royalty of the new country.
And they even tried to make George Washington our first king.
Yeah, but he didn't dig it. He used to freak when anyone would call him Your Majesty.
Mel, very good presentation.
Thank you.
You've got a flair for teaching.
Well, that's what I've always wanted. Did you know you wanted to be a teacher at my age?
Oh, I was thinking about it.
Teaching really turns me on, you know?
As much as playing rock?
Well, it's not exactly the same thing.
I hear that your group is planning on a career in music.
Oh, not really. Some of the guys talk big. You know how many groups there are trying to break into the rock business?
Quite a few.
Sure. And anyhow, if I don't become a teacher, who's going to teach the kids the real story behind our American heroes?
Right.
Later.
Hey, Mel.
Oh, hi.
I've got good news. It's almost all set for the fishing trip. And since I talked to you, I managed to scare up 2 bona fide fishing poles.
18 kids on 2 fishing poles.
Oh, 19. I've never been fishing before either.
Are you kidding?
No, I don't know why, so you'll have to teach me too.
Okay. Hey, are they going to let us have the bus?
Well, I'll know for sure later, so keep your fingers crossed.
They are.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. Come on and play. No, we got it. Now you better watch it.
Sir? We were kind of expecting the band room to be free by now.
What George is trying to say is that the guys sort of signed up for the room, Mr. Kaufman.
So did I. You can have it as soon as I finish the page I'm on.
Sure. Go ahead. Ask him if he'd mind if we set up.
Don't tell him I don't mind if you do it quietly.
Thanks, Mr. Kaufman.
I know when I'm late.
We were being quiet, Mr. Kaufman.
Oh, I know that. It's just that your quiet is considerably louder than mine.
Don't you like our music, Mr. Kaufman?
Oh, yes, some of it. But tell me, why does it always have to be so loud? I took a drive in the country last Sunday, and it was so peaceful. It made me realize how much I miss tiny, tiny little sounds. You know, like the sound of a brook. Just a quiet little bloop, bloop, bloop. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
Sure, I mean, like a flute can really turn me on.
Right. Same thing.
Hey, Mel, play Gets Me By. You didn't play it this afternoon.
Okay.
It's far out.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Gets me by. Gets me by. Gets me by. Gets me by. To hear your voice when you are so far away. Gets me by. Gets me by.
What's up, Sam? Did the club burn down or something?
Yeah, what's wrong? What's going on? Well, I'll tell you what's wrong. I get no appreciation. No thanks. That's what's wrong. Now, I'm making you guys stars, and not so much as a thank you, Sam.
He's heard from Nashville.
If getting a special delivery and a long-distance call is hearing from them, well, then I heard from them.
Come on, sit it, man. Come on, don't hold out on us.
They want you in Nashville in 2 weeks to cut an album. Gonna go first class by bus. Oh, absolutely. We're gonna use all the investments and invest in Sam Cousins. Okay? We'll buy a plane.
Oh, Miss Johnson, Mr. Dixon. Have you got a minute?
Sure, Mel. What's on your mind?
I don't think I'm going to be in town to take my finals.
You won't?
I don't think so.
Well, when will you know?
Oh, I know I won't. I'm going to have to go to Nashville.
Oh, so the long shot paid off, huh?
Yeah. Sam says we got a lot of new numbers to work up before we go. They want us to cut an album.
Well, can't Sam put this thing off? A week or two couldn't make that much difference.
Sam said no. I asked already.
That means you're going to have to take an incomplete. It's too bad. You're almost at the end of the semester.
Oh, can I take the finals when I get back from Nashville?
I don't know if you can do that legally.
Why don't you check with Miss McIntyre?
Do you think she'll let me?
I don't know.
How about our fishing trip? You'll be able to make that, won't you?
I guess so. I'll sure try.
You know, I think it's exciting. You know, who ever heard of Liverpool before the Beatles? Who knows, the nickel-plated toothpick could put Walt Whitman high on the map.
You've got to do this for me. I don't mean you've got to. You don't got to do anything. But what I mean is you've got to make an exception just this once.
Now, let me say that
I mean, there must be a loophole somewhere, Miss McIntyre. There's a loophole in everything, my dad's always saying.
Well,
Look, I want to be a teacher. But you think I want to miss the finals? All I want is the chance to take them when I get back.
I get the picture, Mel.
Yeah, well, the school made an exception for Barney Pickens. Now, of course, he got busted and couldn't take the finals at the time. But if I don't go to Nashville, I'm going to... Yeah?
Permit me to say something in my defense.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. I just want to say that it can be arranged.
It can?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
This is at least as special a case as when Barney Pickens got busted. The group sounds great. If you guys want to do something for yourselves, the school will try to work with you.
Oh, wonderful.
You know, what a lot of you kids can't get through your heads is that some of us are really on your side. On your way out, give a list of your teachers to Marion, and I'll send them my official okay.
Thanks a lot.
You have to take your finals no later than 2 weeks into the next semester. Now, will you be back by then?
I will be back by then. You're what it's all about. You know that, Miss McIntyre?
Thanks. I think.
Good, good. I love it back home.
Hey, how about if we lie down on our backs with our arms and legs in the air and play like that?
Great, I love it.
Do it. We wave goodbye to the school like we're glad to be rid of it.
Do it.
Yeah.
It's much funnier, man.
All right, okay. Play it like he says. This is costing me, huh? Good. Get a lot of face, man. All right?
I'll be right back.
Hey, Mel, what do you think you're doing? This is costing me money. I mean, bread.
I know.
Hi.
Oh, hi, Mel.
Hi.
What are the pictures for?
Oh, publicity. Listen, I wanted you to know that Miss McIntyre said it would be all right for me to make up the finals when I get back from Nashville.
Well, glad to hear it.
You're glad.
Mel, come on.
Hey, is that Sam?
Oh, yeah, that's Sam, all right. Listen, Miss McIntyre said she was going to send you her okay, so it's going to be official and everything, okay?
Mel. Let's try to stick with it till we get the pictures out of the way, huh?
I just wanted to tell them it'll be all right for me to take their finals when I get back from Nashville.
What, get back from Nashville? You're not coming back right away.
I'm not?
Hey, you think they're gonna let you cut a few sides and let you go back like it never happened? They got a circuit of promo dates they send their groups on.
But I gotta get back, Sam.
Come on, let's go.
I'm talking to Sam. It's important to me to get back. I want to graduate.
Mel, we'll talk about it later. Let's go, Mel.
Yeah, but why didn't you tell us this before?
Later. We'll talk about it later, I promise, all right? We'll talk. We always talk, don't we? All right, now what I want is one nice shot, okay? So I want you should all stand together. Come on. Come on, man, that's it. Good. I tell you what, put your arms around each other's shoulders. Good. Come on, quit clowning around. Smile nice. Come on, Mel. Hey, think how famous you're gonna be? Huh? Take it. That's the picture for your first album cover.
Hey, George, you over here. We're saving a spot for you. Oh, you don't mind, do you?
Is that a question?
I wonder what's taking Mr. Kaufman so long.
Hey, look what's in the music section of our above-ground newspaper. The nickel-plated toothpick is on its way, predicts Sam Cousins, the group's manager. He went on to say that within the year, they would be one of the biggest groups in the industry. Hey.
Well, what do you think about that?
Wow.
Sounds like a manager talking.
Maybe I shouldn't have stopped my violin lessons.
Well, music's loss is education's gain, Miss Johnson.
Thanks. Oh, excuse me. Hey, Mel.
Oh, hi, Miss Johnson.
Hi. The requisition for the bus and the driver were okayed, so the fishing trip is on for Saturday.
Oh, that's great. Only
And 3 mothers volunteered to help us, so all we need are the worms.
I can't go.
But you have to go. None of us know how to fish, and the whole thing was your idea.
I just can't go.
Why not?
Our manager's got us working up some new numbers, and I can't get out of it. You know how it is. Oh, yeah. I guess I'm going to have to settle for an incomplete in your class, because I won't be able to take the finals after all. See ya.
Okay, now let's see the shadow effect. Isn't that far out?
Sure is.
Hi. Do I know you?
I'm Pete Dixon. This is Alice Johnson. Mel Wertz is one of our students.
Oh, great. Am I glad you're here. You know, it's about time you and I had a little talk. Kill the lights, Marty. Sit down, please. Sit. Marty, the lights. Yeah, now that's better. You know, I've been planning to get up to that school to talk to somebody, but I've been so hung up. I mean, unbelievable. Listen, what's with Mel?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, he's dragging his feet. You know, when we're listening to other rock groups, their arrangements, things like that. He's got his nose in some lousy school book. Now, I wish you'd talk to him.
About what?
His career. For his own good, let him know what I'm doing for him. I mean, he's got a great opportunity here. We don't want to see him blow it,
Look, you seem to be doing fine on your own, Mr. Cousins. Mel told me that he's dropping out of school.
You're kidding. Well, what do you know? All my talking worked, huh?
Oh, it worked just fine. It took him out of school, out of the Head Start program, out of going to college, and out of becoming a teacher.
A teacher? What's wrong with him? A teacher?
Has it ever occurred to you, Mr. Cousins, that a boy like Mel might be better off being a teacher than being in a rock group?
Better off? How better? How much money can a teacher make? Answer me that. No, I mean the best teacher in the world. How much money can he make?
Mr. Cousins, if I thought it would do any good to talk to you, I'd try that. And by the same token, if I thought it would do any good to knock some sense into your head, I would do that too. But it is obvious that there's nothing that I can say or do that can make you understand anything.
Hey, man, easy, huh?
Let's go, Alice.
And that goes double for me.
How come maybe teachers? That's what we get for our lousy taxes.
Mr. and Mrs. Wertz?
Uh-huh.
Come right in.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello. This is Mr. Dixon, Mel's history teacher.
How do you do?
How do you
How
do?
do you do? I thought you would bring Mel with you.
Well, we asked like you said to, but he had another rehearsal.
I suppose you want to talk about Mel dropping out of school?
Yes, we do. You know, Mr. Wertz, Mel is a good student. He enjoys school. And we think he would be making a big mistake by dropping out.
I know what you mean, but what are you going to do? He's a kid.
That's why we thought with your help we could convince him to stay in school.
My husband and myself have always made it a point never to interfere with Mel, unless it's an emergency.
Oh, you don't think his dropping out of school is an emergency?
Oh, come on now. It's not as if he was dropping out just to pitch pennies on a street corner.
He's one of the nickel-plated toothbrushes.
Toothpicks, dear. Sam Cousins, he seems pretty darn sure that they've got a sound that'll knock 'em dead. Sam feels that they could make a lot of dough with this band of theirs.
Mel's got the rest of his life to earn a living.
Well, we thought about that, but if we don't let him grab this chance, you know what he'll end up being? A teacher.
They're teachers, dear.
Oh, I meant that respectfully. But face it, how much do you make a year? 6, 7 thou?
That's personal, dear.
Some of these kids are millionaires before they're old enough to vote.
When you're that rich, you don't have to vote.
What am I going to say to the kid? No, you can't be a millionaire. You got to finish school. I mean, that's what school is for, isn't it? To learn how to make a buck.
No, that's only part of it.
We hope that school helps kids to find out who they are, too.
But Mel knows who he is. He's our son, and he's a toothbrush.
I heard you and Miss McIntyre saw my folks.
That's right.
Well, what'd you do that for? It's not as if I'm finished with school, you know.
Well, we thought you were.
Of course not. I mean, I figure I can take night classes later or maybe make up in summer school and like that.
Fine.
Well, you know I like school.
Yes, I know.
Sam spent a lot of time and money on us, and the guys in the whole school and Linda all expect me to go.
Not to mention your parents.
Yeah, how about that? They don't seem to mind me going either.
So what's the problem?
I guess there is no problem.
Except that I doubt very seriously if you'll ever get around to catching up in night school. And that's too bad. Because you told me you were interested in being a teacher. And you have got the talent for it.
Well, what am I supposed to do?
It's not for me to tell you.
Everybody's like pushing me to go with music, and can they all be so wrong? And anyway, what's the matter with a career in music?
Nothing. I just hate to see you do something because other people think it's best for you. You know, Mel, letting other people tell you what to do is like letting them tell you who you are. And that could be a very, very bad habit. I'd rather see you do something because you want to do it. Anyway, it's your decision. Just remember one thing. Be good to yourself.
Yeah.
Babe, I'm calling out your name, hoping you can hear. Babe, I'm bawling, hoping you will see my tears. Babe, I'm falling on my knees, hoping you can see. Babe, I'm crawling on my knees, just begging you, please. And you can carry me back to that place across the track.
take it again from the top.
Hey, we've been rehearsing since 11.
Like they say, practice makes perfect.
I've got an appointment.
To do what? Start one of those student revolts?
Quit kidding, Mel. We need the practice.
I said I'm splitting. It's important.
More important than practicing?
That's right.
What's more important than practicing?
Fishing.
Fishing? You mean fishing?
I promised some kids I'd take them.
You mean fish, hooks, worms, the whole bit?
That's right, the whole bit.
Oh, come on, Mel, you know you can't do it.
Hold it, guys. Hold it. So you're going fishing?
Righto.
Why, he's just kidding us, aren't you, Mel? Putting us on.
No.
Great. Perfect. You go fishing. But let me just tell you something. You can take your pals with you. Because the second you walk out that door, you're through. All of you.
Mel, did you hear that?
Yeah, we've been working for this break for a long time. You're not just gonna toss it out the window, are you, Mel?
That's right, we've been depending on you.
You're ruinous.
Mel, the guys are right.
Of course they are. We all are, Mel. Hey, we know what's best, right, guys?
Yeah, the group comes first. You gotta stick with us.
Mel! Mel!
Look, you guys know what you want. Great. But I don't want the same thing. Well, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything, but I'm not wrong either. I'm only sorry it took me so long to find out.
Yeah, but what about us? Without you, we're finished.
Maybe Sam's deal is finished, but that's not everything. Look, you guys play great. You don't need me and you don't need him either. If Sam doesn't want to manage you, you'll find someone else who will.
Wait a minute. Who said Sam doesn't want you guys? It's him he doesn't want. Who needs him? Let him go. There are 1,000 guys just waiting to take his place. And guys that play way better, too. Way better.
I'll never understand you, Melvin Wertz.
Want to come fishing? I think you'll like it.
Why?
Because everything is so quiet.
I know you have the room after me. If you look at the clock on the wall, you'll find I have another 2 minutes.
No rush, Mr. Coffin.
I think with Jerry Cates, we stand a chance at the city championship.
There's Jerry! Great game, Jerry. Fantastic game. Way to go.
Good game, Jerry. I said good game.
Oh, thanks a lot.
You were fabulous, Jerry. Really terrific.
Hey, Jerry. You remember my parents. My mother's on the right.
We've missed you, Jerry.
Thursday nights just doesn't seem the same. The Lakers haven't been doing too well either without you there watching.
Yeah, well, we have a TV set at home now. It was nice seeing you.
Come see us.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Jerry. Where you going?
I gotta get home.
Every day you gotta get home. What's there?
Nothing, man. I just gotta get home.
All right, but you don't have to get mad.
Look, I'm not mad. I just gotta get home.
Is that from your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you're 2 weeks overdue today. I don't usually give any extensions to my tenants.
Well, she's coming home, Mrs. Bush. She told me in her last letter that she'd let me know when to meet her at the airport.
Maybe there's a check in there for me.
Well, if there is, I'll see that you get it.
The events leading up to the War of 1812 were very complex. And it was a war with a certain similarity to our own situation in Vietnam, in that all of the people weren't in favor of it. Does anybody else know of any other similarities? Jason.
Well, there was a group in Congress that wanted the war called War Hawks, so I guess there must have been a hawk and dove thing then, too.
Okay, cool it.
What was the question, Mr. Dixon?
Okay, that's it. And remember, tomorrow, a 10-minute quiz. Jerry, I'd like to talk to you for a minute. You know, this isn't the first time that you've fallen asleep in class lately. And your test marks are going down. Is there something you want to talk about?
I guess it's just basketball practice along with everything else, you know.
Well, you were on the team last year and it didn't seem to make that much difference, did it?
No.
Have you had a physical checkup lately?
Yeah, I had one just before season started. I'm all right.
And what's the problem?
I don't know.
Okay.
If nobody else has any victims to offer, I've got one. How about Jerry Cates? It seems like everybody's turned in a referral slip on him in the last couple of months or so.
He's not really a disciplinary case. He just sleeps in class.
How are his grades?
Oh, not too good. He's failing English. Sociology down from an A- to a C. Spanish down from a B to a C.
Well, what's the matter with him? Has anybody tried to talk to him?
Oh, you can't. He's a pretty buttoned-up kid these days. The only person he'll talk to is Larry Ellis.
It's funny, Jerry Cates always seemed like an open, outgoing boy.
I got a call about Jerry today, but it was so kind of dumb. I just put it out of my mind, but...
What was it?
Well, it was from his landlady, Mrs. Barnaby or Barnes or something like that. Anyway, she went through this whole song and dance about her rent. So I told her to take it up with Jerry's mother. And she said something like, "That's easier said than done." Then she hung up.
Well, what would she call the school for, I wonder?
I don't know. She had one of those high, hysterical voices. I didn't even take it seriously.
Who has him first period tomorrow?
I do.
Send him to my office after class, will you, Miss Johnson? I'd like to talk to him. Don't make a big deal out of it. Just tell him I'd like to chat with him.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm with the TV Opinion Institute, and I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Larry, later.
You have to go home, right?
You got it.
Hey, Jerry, are you in some kind of trouble?
There's no trouble, man.
Then what's the matter with you?
All right, look. Now, I have a job, okay? In a gas station, all right? Now, I have to be there at 5:30. Now, that gives me 1/2 hour, and I still have to eat first, all right?
Why didn't you tell me about the job in the first place?
Because I didn't want anybody to know about it.
What's the big deal?
Mary, I need this job. And I don't want anybody at school to tell me I have to quit because of my marks or anything else. Now, do you understand?
Oh, can I come in for a minute?
Yeah.
Oh, am I keeping you from something?
Well, I do have to go somewhere. I have a dentist appointment.
Oh. Well, you go ahead. I'll talk to your mother if she's around.
Well, she's not here right now.
Oh, it's too bad. Well, I'll come back.
Well, she won't be back.
Oh.
I mean, for quite a while. She works late on Thursdays.
Thursdays? I must have missed a day somewhere. I could swear today was Wednesday.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean Wednesdays, yeah.
What, is something burning?
It's probably just the people next door burning trash.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, Jerry, I know you're in a hurry. I'm not going to keep you. Tomorrow morning, why don't you drop into my office? We'll have a little talk. Try to make it before the first bell, okay?
Well, did I do something wrong?
No. It's just that you seem to be having a little trouble scholastically, mainly history and English. And I used to be a pretty fair English teacher. Maybe I can help you out.
Why? I mean, why me? There's a lot of kids doing worser than me in English.
Worser? No, not much worser. Jerry, there is something burning in that oven. Don't you think you better see? I think you overcooked it. Jerry, where's your mother?
I told you, my mother is at work. She works overtime.
Okay, Jerry.
Why do you want to know about me?
I'd like to help you.
She's a good person. I don't want you to think she's not. Her problem is... She just believes what people say. Men. What do you care? It doesn't matter. What does it matter? You know what I mean?
It seems to matter a great deal.
Yeah. She's got this fantastic trust. Well, ever since my dad ran off, she has had 1,000,000 proposals and 100,000 honeymoons. But not one wedding. I know what you're thinking, but she's not like what you're thinking.
Actually, I was thinking she's a lucky woman to have a son like you.
So what's going to happen to him? He's underage.
Well, at least he's talking to me now. We had a real good session this morning. And I've made arrangements with his landlady about the rent.
You mean you've paid it? With all due respect, Mr. Kaufman.
Oh?
I mean, you just can't go getting involved like that.
Well, I don't see why not. He's a good boy and he's got a big problem. Maybe I can help him. He's a good boy.
Yeah, but how long can you go on paying his rent?
What is this obsession you have with his rent?
Mr. Kaufman, isn't it against the law for a minor to live alone?
No.
If that's true, then it's also against the law for you to help him to live alone.
Well, but it's not going to be forever. I mean, presumably his mother will come back sometime. I think she genuinely loves the boy. She's just...
Romantic?
That's right. Romantic.
Lady here to see you.
What?
Jerry Kate,
Yeah?
I wonder if I could talk to you for a moment.
Well, what about?
Yeah, what about? I'm this boy's manager, and he never makes a move without me.
Would you excuse us for a moment, I wonder?
Oh, sure. Just don't sign anything.
I'm Ana Santos. I'm from the Child Welfare and Attendance Department.
Man, why didn't you tell me your old lady was gone?
Why should I?
What'd you tell her? The hooky cop.
I told her my mother was coming home. She said she'd come by again next week to check on her.
What if your mother doesn't show up by then?
Now I gotta go into a foster home.
Foster home? You?
Unless I can get a guardian.
How you gonna do that? They having a special sale on guardians this week?
Don't sweat it, man. I'll get one.
You will, huh?
Yeah.
Who?
Mr. Kaufman, what's a guardian?
Well, there are several different kinds.
Oh, I know. I mean the kind that takes care of a kid.
Answered your own question. Jerry. Mrs. Santos from the Child Welfare Department was here last period.
Well, then, you know. Yeah, but a kid my age doesn't have to live with a guardian, does he? I mean, well, I could just keep on living by myself, and all the guardian would have to do would be just sign papers and say everything's cool in case there's any trouble, right?
Oh, well, that's true, but...
Well, do you think I might be able to find somebody who'd do that for me?
Jerry, you should be with a family that cares for you. You don't want somebody that just signs papers to fulfill the legal requirements.
I know, but it'd just be for a little while. Just till my mother gets back.
Yeah, but... Are you asking me to be your guardian?
Would you?
It's very flattering, Jerry. I like you. I've enjoyed our morning sessions. But frankly, I can't convince myself that you're continuing to live alone like this is a good thing for you. Don't you think you'd be happier in a family?
A family? Oh, you mean a foster family, where they get paid for taking care of kids?
Oh, now, wait a minute. Now, look, if somebody's out to make money, believe me, there are easier ways. The foster families that I have known are kind, understanding people who feel that their lives are enriched by being around young people.
And you don't, right?
Well, I'm not sure. I've never taken on more than 3,500 at once.
In other words, no, you won't be my guardian.
Well, now, wait, I didn't say that.
Oh, that's okay, Mr. Kaufman. Just forget I asked.
Jerry. I'll tell Mrs. Santos that I've consented to be your guardian.
Oh, thanks a lot, Mr. Kaufman. Well, I talk about my mother. I'm just as dumb as she is.
Why? For trusting people?
For trusting the wrong people. Who is it?
Me.
What do you want?
All right, quit stalling, Gates, and open up this door, see? Or I'm coming in after you. Where you going?
I don't know. Any place. Just know I'm not going into any foster home.
What about the guardian you're gonna get?
I don't need no guardian. I'm better off by myself.
Oh, I can see that. The place really looks great. Informal-like. And when you get tired of washing dishes, you can always lie down on the stove.
Oh, you got nothing better to do than just hang around and bug me, huh?
Jerry, why do you act so tough? You know I'm your friend.
Do me a favor, huh? Just beat it.
If I really thought you wanted me to go, I would.
I want you to. Why would I want a stupid little midget like you hanging around?
Because I can help you, that's why.
What are you doing?
You gotta eat, don't you? Suitcase stew had a little ketchup, a little salt and pepper. How about a dash of underwear?
Hey, cut it out, man.
Go ahead and hit me, and I'll hit you right back. Man, you're a bummer, you know that? You are so hung up feeling sorry about yourself, you don't even know who's on your side. Man, why don't you just admit it? You're scared and lonely. And you just ain't cutting it by yourself.
All of his clothes are gone. Do you suppose he ran away?
Well, I've really done it, haven't I? The boy was just reaching out for me, and now what?
Oh, I wouldn't be so hard on myself if I were you. You did everything you could.
Hey, if you're looking for the Cates boy, he's not here.
Do you have any idea where he might have gone?
How would I know? They just left without a word. And after all I've done for him, too.
Yes, well, did you say they?
I guess I didn't know what I was gonna do, and Larry here asked me to come over for dinner to give me time to think about it.
Have you thought about it?
Yeah, and I guess what you said was right, Mr. Kaufman. So I'll go tell Mrs. Santos to find me a foster home.
I think that's best, Jerry.
Yeah. Mr. Kaufman, I mean, what I said in your office...
Oh, forget about that. I understand. I didn't say exactly what I wanted to either.
You two, come and help me with the coffee and cake, okay? Oh, you too, Mr. Kaufman. If you don't mind.
No.
I guess Mr. Kaufman's right. Family wouldn't take a kid in if they didn't like him. And the county checks him out real good, too. Right?
They're very thorough.
Yeah, who knows? I might even dig it. At least I won't have to worry about the rent anymore.
You'll be all right, Jerry.
Thank you.
Hey, Jerry. If I ask a favor, you promise not to get bugged?
No, I promise.
Well, you say I always bug you.
I said I wouldn't get mad.
See, you're getting mad already.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I am not.
I mean, you promise not to get mad if I get in the bathroom before you do, or use your towel, or your aftershave lotion?
Wait a minute, what are you talking about?
Jerry, what Larry's trying to say is he wants you to stay here with us. We all would.
What do you say, Jerry? Okay, I'll even promise not to use your aftershave lotion. I mean, why should I? I don't even shave. Stay with us, Jerry.
I'd like that. Like, just till my mother gets back.
Oh, of course.
And if you find that changing homes doesn't solve all of your problems, like the difference between a participle and a gerund, my door is still open.
Mr. Kaufman, Jerry Kate's mother's here to see you.
Oh, yes. Send her in. Mrs. Cates.
Mr. Kaufman, I've certainly looked forward to meeting you so.
Well, won't you sit down?
No, I just came by to thank you for being so kind to Jerry while I was away.
He's a fine boy.
I'm afraid that I probably haven't thought about him as much as I should have lately. But all that's going to change now. Yes, Lou and I are getting married.
Well, congratulations.
And he's waiting for me in Seattle. And I'm going back tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jerry's going to come and live with us. I don't know when, but soon. As soon as possible.
Something wrong?
Somehow I just expected a much older man.
Oh. Well, it's very kind of you.
Such a distinguished-looking boss you have. Well, I'll be running along. Maybe we'll run into each other again sometime.
Hope so. Bye, Mrs. Cates.
Au revoir, Mr. Kaufman.
Au revoir, Mr. Kaufman.
Miss Johnson, I'm in the most incredible trouble with my mom again. You gotta help me.
Well, what happened this time?
Well, she never believes me. Last night... Oh! There's my boyfriend.
Yes.
I'll talk to you after lit today, okay, Miss Johnson? It's vital.
Real good, Margaret, sure.
Mo!
Oh, good morning, Alice.
Good morning.
Hi, Alice.
Hi.
Beautiful day, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, yeah, I guess it is.
Are you okay?
Sure, fine. Swell.
Were you up all night grading papers again?
Mm-hmm. Some kids came by, and then Margaret Peters phoned again. Well, I couldn't turn them away.
You know, you keep this up, you're going to be the best love teacher in the hospital.
At least I'd get some sleep. There are still a number of delinquent candy accounts. Any student on the delinquent list must turn in their money or the chocolates by Friday without fail. All right, Barney, would you and George please pass out the books Mr. Dragon had sent up?
Is that our next assignment?
Yes, Margaret.
Silas Marner.
Come on now. It's a classic.
Classics. That means it's guaranteed to put you to sleep, right? Why can't we study the books we like once in a while?
Because they ain't classic, man.
In a sense. See, they haven't withstood the test of time.
Yeah, but that don't mean that they aren't fun to read and that we can't learn lots from them.
Teachers think you only learn something when it hurts.
Now, that's not true, Barney. But we do have a certain curriculum we must follow.
Yeah, but I bet you'd rather read modern books just like us, wouldn't you, Miss Johnson?
Sure she would. She's not a creep like old man Dragan.
Dragan thinks anything after Nathaniel Hawthorne is science fiction.
Science fiction is practically pornography.
Not everyone has the same taste. Besides, Mr. Dragan is head of the English department.
So we gotta read a book he likes.
Miss Johnson, we just got through with the old classic. Why can't we study a book we want, and then we'll study that old Silas Marner?
Yeah, right on.
Well, do you have a book in mind, Pat?
How about Catch-22?
Catch-22?
Yeah, it won all kinds of literary awards, and lots of people think it's a really great book.
What's it about?
Well, see, there's this dude, Yossarian, and he's in the army, right? And he wants out. And the only way you can get out is to tell the medics you're crazy. But if he knows that he wants out, then he can't be crazy, so he's in, which really makes him crazy. And if the dude asks to get out, then he can't be crazy. So, I mean, that's Catch-22. Dig it?
Kind of reminds me of school.
Oh, come on, Miss Johnson. Be a good egg, please. Let's read the book we want, and then we'll read the book you want.
Miss Johnson's with us, Pat. She wants to study the same book as us. Don't you, Miss Johnson?
Well, all right. But first we'll study Silas Marner, then Catch-22.
Oh, why can't we do it the other way around? We're still recuperating from the mill on the floss.
Yeah, and we'll feel so great after Catch-22, we won't mind Silas Marner so much. It'll help the educational process.
Okay, Miss Johnson, Catch-22 first, please.
You know, we could use a few of you kids at the Paris peace talks. Okay, it's a deal. First Catch-22, but then Silas Marner.
Best teacher at Whitman.
You can say that again.
Best teacher at Whitman.
It's my boyfriend. My parents don't approve, especially Mom, so when I called you last night...
Oh, yes, at 11 o'clock.
I was with Mo.
Oh, Miss Johnson, you thought about that bee of mine yet?
Barney,
Miss Johnson, I remember what you told me to tell the boys about, and oh, yes, I have it. So what am I supposed to do?
Here, take my hand in it tomorrow. Would that be all right?
Shut up, George. I told my mother I was studying...
Margaret, hand in what tomorrow?
Mill on the floor book report. I know I said today, but I'll get it tomorrow for sure.
Was that the one that was due 2 weeks ago?
See, if I don't get that B in English, no track team. No track team, no scholarship, no nothing. I'm going to be in serious...
Please, Miss Johnson. So if you could just sign this note saying that we were studying together last night.
See, if I don't get that B, I've had it. Why stay in school?
I can't sign this note, Margaret.
Will it be all right? The book report, I mean.
Yes, I guess so.
Oh, swell. Hey, you're great, Miss Johnson.
Oh, you've got to, Miss Johnson. It's the truth. We talked for a long time. That was studying.
Miss Johnson, my whole future depends on that B, so you will give it to me.
Would you step in here a moment, please? I'd like a word with you.
In just a second, Mr. Dragan.
I don't have much time.
I have to go.
Oh, please. You're not like the other teachers. You understand. Just initial it, okay, Miss Johnson?
Now, you will explain the particulars to your mother, won't you, Margaret?
Oh, sure, of course. I promise. Oh, thanks. You're great,
Oh,
Miss
Miss
Johnson.
Johnson.
Fantastic.
What about my B?
We'll see. I have to talk to Mr. Dragan.
Can you ask him what he thinks of Catch-22?
When Mr. Kaufman was sergeant in my department, I was a little less than enthused. But from all reports, it appears you've been able to instill into your students a rare enthusiasm, which I shall be only too pleased to know to my evaluation report of your work at the end of the semester. Well done, Miss Johnson.
Thank you.
Now then, how is your Lit Class 204A getting on with Silas Marner?
Oh, well, Mr. Dragon, what I've done is, well, the class is sort of aiming at Silas Marner. You know, getting in the mood, preparing.
Good. Great book. My personal favorite. And perhaps the greatest book in our entire curriculum. Well, keep up the good work, Miss Johnson. Oh, Miss Johnson.
Yes, Mr. Dragon.
Get some sleep.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Having any problems?
Oh, no. I left some papers in my desk that needed marking. I just thought I'd get here early, but I didn't realize that the doors would be locked.
You didn't realize?
That the doors would be locked.
I see. Okay, kid, what are you doing here?
Kid? Look, I'm Miss Johnson. I happen to be a teacher.
That's funny. Most teachers know what time school starts. What do you teach, kid?
English.
English, huh? Okay, who wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin?
Uncle Tom's Cabin? Well, that's easy. That's simple. Well, let's see. Everybody knows Uncle Tom's Cabin.
It's a book.
Well, I didn't think it was a motel.
All right, don't get wise.
Harriet Beecher Stowe.
Who was the bad guy?
Simon Legree. And do you want me to tell you who he reminds me of?
Okay. I guess you're a teacher, all right.
Thanks.
Do you mind if I give you a word of advice?
What is it?
Don't burn the candle on both ends. It ain't worth it. Try to get some sleep at night, Miss Johnson.
You're not an emergency clinic, Alice. You know, you're not supposed to be on duty 24 hours a day.
But they're such great kids, Pete.
Sure, but you can't do everything. Teach your regular classes, give special tutoring, and handle their individual emotional problems. It's too much.
How'd you like to coach the baseball team on the side?
Well, I am getting a little worn down, but...
What time did you get to bed last night?
Well, after I finished grading some of these quiz papers about... Oh, no, then Natasha Rogers called, and then Margaret again. Oh, about 1:32.
Alice, you have got to learn how to say no.
Pete's right. You've got to draw the line. I mean, I'm a sensitive, sympathetic counselor, but I don't get phone calls all hours of the night.
How do you manage it?
Leave the phone off the hook.
Of course it's a comedy. A black comedy.
How can you tell a book about war and men getting killed funny?
Yeah, but that's what black comedy is. If you don't laugh, baby, you'd be crying all the time.
I disagree. Personally, it's an immoral book. Don't tell me. My father was in World War II, and this makes it all sound like it was crazy.
So what did your father think about the book?
I don't know.
Well, Barney, why don't you ask him?
Okay.
All right, read the next 3 chapters for tomorrow.
I know immorality. Yes.
Miss Johnson, you must be a veritable miracle worker.
Really?
To see a class so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed after 40 minutes of Silas Marner, you know, that proves that our students can learn to appreciate the classics if they're taught with enthusiasm and verve.
Thank you.
You know, tomorrow, I'm going to permit myself a very special treat.
What treat is that, Mr. Dragon?
I'm going to witness firsthand what you're doing with Silas Marner. I'm going to audit your class. See you, Miss Johnson.
What's the matter? You're not hungry?
Oh, no, not very.
All right, Alice. Come on. What's on your mind?
You know, teaching Silas Marner?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not exactly teaching Silas Marner.
You're not?
I'm teaching Catch-22.
Figures?
No, you don't understand. You see, the kids felt...
Let me guess. The kids felt that Silas Marner would be a drag, but that Catch-22 would be fun, right? And you felt the kids would hate you if you forced them into that dusty old classic. But if you allowed them to read a swinging modern classic, they'd love you. Am I close?
Exactly. But that's still not all. Mr. Dragon's going to audit my class today. What am I going to do, Liz?
I tell you what I'd do.
What?
For openers, I'd pray.
Pray?
Pray.
What do you mean we've gotten all we can out of Catch-22?
We're hardly even into it.
What's going on, Miss Johnson?
Sounds like cop-out time to me.
Yeah.
We had an agreement, remember? Catch-22 first, then we dig into Silas Marner. Now, would you please get out your copies of Silas Marner?
Mine is home.
Mine, too.
We didn't know we were supposed to bring them.
Of course you didn't. All right, let's go on with Catch-22.
Yeah.
Barney, you were going to ask your father what he thought of the book. Has he read it?
Yeah, he said he read it when it first came out.
Excuse me, Miss Johnson. People, please go on, just as if I weren't here.
Yes, of course. Well, now, where were we? Oh, yes. Barney, you were about to tell us what your father thought of the book.
Oh,
well, I'm not...
Wonderful. Now, that's wonderful, Miss Johnson, bringing the views of the parents into the classroom. Oh, sorry. Go on, just as if I weren't here.
Go ahead, Barney.
Oh, well,
It's all right, Barney. Now, go ahead. What'd your father have to say?
Well, he said a lot of things in the book were exaggerated. Like the way the nurses in the hospital cared more about their personal problems than they did about the patients.
Yes, practically everything in the book was exaggerated. Now, what do you think the author's intent was in exaggerating reality the way he did? Pat?
Well, it's just like in a painting. Sometimes the artist has to exaggerate certain features in order to get his point across.
Yeah, like the cat who cornered the whole cotton market in Egypt. That was impossible. But, you know, there were cats in the army stealing stuff and selling it.
Good. Now, does anybody else have an...
Excuse me just a moment, Miss Johnson. I must have come in here somewhere in the middle. Hospitals, nurses, stealing cotton. Now, I don't like to interrupt, but could someone please tell me what happened to Silas Marner and all this? Miss Johnson? I'm not upset, Miss Johnson. But I am seriously disappointed.
But Catch-22 is a marvelous novel.
It's a controversial novel, my dear. Silas Marner, on the other hand, is a time-tested classic. More importantly, it's on your teaching plan. Therefore, I suggest you teach it.
I was going to.
Miss Johnson, as you know, this is the first year of your probationary period.
Yes, sir.
Not a very promising beginning, is it? Not at all. From now on, Miss Johnson, you must place your trust in Silas Marner.
I'll try.
I hope so. I sincerely hope so.
Excuse me, Mr. Dragon. Miss Johnson, you wanted in Mr. Kaufman's office right now.
Dear Miss Peters, this is to let you know that your daughter Margaret Celestine Peters was studying with me last night as she claims she was. Yours very truly, A.J.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Kaufman?
Yes, come in, Miss Johnson. I don't believe you've met Margaret's mother, Mrs. Peters.
No, but I certainly wanted to meet you and find out what you thought you were doing when you signed that note. I'm sorry, Miss Johnson. Honest isn't a word I want to hear from you, Margaret.
I think I can explain, Mrs. Peters.
Please do. My daughter goes hoop-de-dooing off with a boy all hours of the night, and her teacher signs a note saying that she is studying. What do you teach, Miss Johnson? Sex education?
I don't think that's fair, Mrs. Peters. I think there's a reasonable explanation.
Well, I'd certainly like to hear one.
Miss Johnson?
Well, I'm afraid I did sign the note. We were studying. She did call me. I suppose that's a little misleading, but...
You were studying on the phone? What kind of a story is that?
It's a true one. I'm certain, Mrs. Peters, it's too far out to be anything else. I am equally certain that Miss Johnson was doing what she thought was best for Margaret, weren't you, Miss Johnson?
Be that as it may, Mr. Kaufman, you cannot explain away the fact that one of your teachers joined in a conspiracy to deceive a parent, and I don't like it, not one bit. Come on, Margaret, I want to talk to you.
I'm sorry, Miss Johnson.
Miss Johnson, do you know why a teacher teaches for 3 years before he receives tenure?
Well, I suppose if he or she can't do his or her job, he or she can be let go or fired.
Exactly.
You gonna fire me, Mr. Kaufman?
Miss Johnson, I like your enthusiasm for teaching. I like your dedication, but aren't you aware of what this kind of foolish, thoughtless behavior can lead to?
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm afraid that's not good enough. Now, look. You've asked me if I'm going to fire you. I can only tell you that at the end of the semester, I will review your work and Mr. Dragon's evaluation, and I'll make a decision.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman.
Oh, don't thank me because, well, I just hope I never hear anything like this again.
Yes, sir.
And Miss Johnson, I will be listening very carefully.
Alice, don't you think Mr. Kaufman was justified in reading your...
I guess so.
Alice, do you want to be a teacher?
Of course I do.
Then why don't you act like it?
What do you mean?
Well, your first responsibility is to teach English, right? Well, you've let your students' personal problems interfere with that job.
I don't know. I guess I'm just a flop.
Alice, if you're ever going to teach, you've got to get over this idea that your students have to love you. They don't. What they have to do is learn. And what you have to do is teach them.
But I don't know where to start.
Start with Silas Marner.
All right. Look, it's 3 weeks since I committed the treasonous act of forcing you to put aside Catch-22 and read Silas Marner. You didn't want to study Silas Marner. I didn't particularly want to teach it. But what about Silas himself and the life he lived?
You call that living?
What do you call it, Barney?
Personally, it's a pretty miserable existence.
You mean because Silas was a miser?
Sure, all he cared about was money.
He certainly wasn't the most fun-loving cat in town.
Is the meaning of Silas Marner that money is bad?
Well, all it bought old Silas is being lonely.
Yeah, but that's because he used it like a shield to keep people away from him, right?
Oh, come on.
Okay, stop. Know what we've been doing? Thinking about Silas Marner. Arguing about it. And I bet some of us have actually been enjoying it. See? It's possible.
Hey, so that's why when he lost all that old gold, he was, like, vulnerable. And he could love that little girl, Eppie, right?
In other words, when he lost the money, he was forced to change, right? Yeah. Okay, now remember, this is a time when England was changing. The Industrial Revolution was coming on like a steam engine.
So that hanging on to gold was like hiding from change. If you don't hang loose, you're dead.
Right. All right. That's right.
What do you think of Jason's interpretation of Silas Marner, Mr. Dragon?
Oh, well, it is a somewhat unorthodox view of the book.
It wasn't the gold that was bad, it was Silas believing in it. Don't you think everybody's got to change their beliefs once they find out they're dragging behind the times?
Well, actually, you have a very interesting point there.
You mean you believe in revolution?
In change. In change, I hope there is a difference.
Some people think one's impossible without the other.
Is that what you think, Pat?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, what about the changes that have taken place in this country over the years?
What kind of changes?
Well, what ones can you think of?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dragon, but I think I'm right.
No, Jason, the thoughts of Chairman Mao simply don't apply to Silas.
But, Mr. Dragon, I think I'm right.
I don't care.
Have you decided about my B yet, Miss Johnson?
Yes. You'll get a B if and when you earn it. And it's well within your capacity.
You know something, Miss Johnson? You've changed.
Well, that's what Silas Marner was all about, wasn't it?
Miss Johnson, you're never going to believe this.
But what?
But I'm in trouble with my mother again, and I gotta talk to you.
Look, Margaret, we're going to have to limit our conversations to what goes on in class. Now, you have friends to discuss your personal problems with. And if they're serious, you can go see your counselor.
Between the hours of 8 and 4:10 in my office, okay, Margaret?
Oh, swell, Miss McIntyre. Sweating.
I've been trying to get up the nerve to do that for weeks.
Well, that wasn't so bad, was it?
Well, actually, it's a great relief. Except
what?
Well, Margaret says she has another problem with her mother.
About what?
Well, that's just it. Now it looks like I'm never going to find out. And then Mr. Dragon said he had never encountered so many far-fetched interpretations of a book.
Is that good?
No, but he said he'd never encountered such enthusiasm either.
That is good.
So what are you going to teach next?
Well, we're going to finish Catch-22.
Catch-22?
Yes, Mr. Dragon said it was all right since the class handled Silas Marner the way they did.
Well, you should be very proud.
Oh, I am. And Mr. Dragon even preferred Catch-22 to a classic. One of the kids suggested we study.
Dragon did to a classic? Which one?
Lady Chatterley's Lover.
Tell me where we're going.
I don't mind, if you don't mind spoiling my surprise.
Okay, since you put it that way.
What do you know about the FCC?
Oh, the Federal Communications Commission? Oh, it controls everything that goes over the airways. You know, radio, television.
Wonderful. I knew you were just the man for the job.
But I thought thought we already had a first-rate janitor.
We do. What we need is someone to supervise this little addition to our extracurricular activities.
A radio station?
That's right. Well, it's only 10 watts FM. We're not exactly the answer to KABC. But if you knew how long I've been trying to get this thing for us.
How'd you do it?
Well, you see, this month, City College goes AM. So we just happened to inherit their license and their equipment, thanks to Morris Henry.
The school board, Morris Henry?
Same one.
Don't tell me. He's coming up for re-election next month.
Don't get cute, Pete. Just run the station. Okay?
Well, I hate to shake your faith in my technological expertise, but I don't even know how to turn this thing on.
You'll learn. It's nothing. Look, here, bone up on the FCC regulations, and don't panic. I'm providing you with a first-rate qualified assistant.
Who?
Alice Johnson.
Hi.
Oh, hi. How you doing?
Good. Okay, does anyone here know someone with a third-class radio license?
Hey, me. I got one last year.
Ooh, Bernie, I didn't know you were a ham.
Then you're the only one.
All right, man. Come on. You come here and work the thing.
I'm gonna be the disc jockey. Yes, sir, kiddies. This is your resident king of soul, bringing you the tunes to swoon, the beat that's neat, and the jazz that's always alive.
No. You're not getting it. The purpose of these study teams is to really dig into local government, visit sessions, ask questions. And I warn you, don't be intimidated by politicians and don't be scared off by their rhetoric.
So what you're saying is dig beneath the words.
Right. And as future voters, find out what's going on behind all of those bureaucratic doors. Well, it's almost time for the bell to ring, so since many of you are going to be at City Hall this afternoon, we'll break early.
Hey, listen, don't forget to tell everybody we start broadcasting this afternoon. See?
Quiet, everybody. This is it.
You're listening to KWWH 92.5 FM, the voice of Radio Free Walt Whitman High.
Remember radio? This is Racing Jason telling you to keep cool in the motor pool. It's alive and well right here at Walt Whitman High, where music is king and rock is our theme.
Thank you. I'm starving to death.
Well, you better eat on the run. Guess who wants to see you in his office right now?
Pete, it is not that I disapprove of the format you've chosen.
I didn't choose anything. You put me in charge, and I let the students select their own programming.
Will you let me finish my cop-out? Nor is it that I personally may dislike some of that music. But I just feel that we have a responsibility to the public.
What about the students? How much interest do you think there'll be in that station if we start playing censor?
Peter, I wasn't censoring.
Good.
I mean, I was suggesting a little variety in the format, maybe some public service programs.
Maybe we'll integrate some of the work we're doing with local government.
That's fine. See, that's just perfect. I mean, Gad, nobody's ever called me a censor before. That's a terrible word.
Yes, isn't it?
Free milk, free lunch. How about free pot? This idealistic new generation expects everything to be given to them. Let's not disappoint them.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Mr. Henry, don't you think we should discuss this lunch program seriously? But to make sure we're all in agreement on what's going on.
What about free matches and a do-it-yourself kit for burning down the school of your choice?
There's Here's your public service programming, Mr. Dixon. Walt Whitman visits the school board.
That's it. We can edit the tapes into 5 5-minute programs.
Yeah.
What you say, Mr. Dixon?
Come on, Mr. Dixon.
Well, you all certainly seem to be enthused about it.
Yeah.
Right. Isn't it our responsibility to let the public know what's going on?
Well, I guess we're about to start some public service programming.
Watch out, Morris Henry. We're going to sock it to you.
You know, something tells me we're about to bite the hand that feeds us.
Take a look at maybe, but not bite.
Oh, really? Am I talking to the same Pete Dixon who once said, somebody's got to knock that phony out of office even if I got to run against him myself?
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
That was only 2 years ago when Morris Henry was reelected. And Pete, that same perverse little twinkle that was in your eye then is there now.
Mr. Kaufman's office, please. Pete Dixon.
Yes, Pete.
We have that public service program that you wanted, and it's going on the air in 15 minutes. I thought you'd like to hear it first.
I trust your judgment, Pete. I'm really busy right now.
Mr. Kaufman, your noon appointment is here.
Send him right in, please. Pete, I really gotta go. I'll talk to you later. Morris, nice of you to drop in.
Seymour, I've only got a minute, but I thought I'd drop by to see how you were doing with the little radio station I presented you with. By the way, I brought along Joe Duggan of the press. Come in, Joe. I thought a little publicity was in order. Never hurts to get your picture in the paper, as long as they spell your name right, huh?
Morris, you're incorrigible.
Go. Hit it, man. You're on.
Anytime you're ready, son. Thank you. That'll be all, Joe. Now, I have to run along, too, Seymour.
Morris, run along. You just got here. Aren't you even going to see the radio station?
Life is short. As the poet says, I have appointments to keep and miles to go before I sleep.
Morris, you've got a few minutes to hear the noon broadcast.
A few minutes I can spare if you hurry it up. Where's this loudspeaker here?
Right here, right here.
Turn it on, turn it on. Good. That's good. Good and clear. It's a little loud, but it's clear, isn't it? Now, I've got to go. I've heard all this
Will
before.
you just be patient a moment, please? I don't want you to hear just rock and roll. There's a public service program coming on.
Right,
I want you to hear it. I'm anxious to hear it
See,
myself.
I'll listen. Just see if you can hurry him along.
Hi. I have an appointment with Mr. Kaufman about the field trip.
I'm afraid he's busy right now. He's in there with Mr. Henry listening to the radio.
Mr. Henry? You mean Morris Henry, the school board?
Right.
Oh, no!
And now the special public affairs program for KWWH-FM.
In the belief that you, the public, have a right to the facts, KWWH-FM brings you the first of a series of 5 programs on your school board in action. As a part of the civics class project, students from Walt Whitman attended 3 sessions of the school board. What you're about to hear are 3 excerpts from those sessions.
Morris Henry.
What about it?
He's in Mr. Kaufman's office listening to the program. Oh, but don't you think we should cut in and say we're having a technical difficulty or something?
We could. We're not.
When pressed by board member Loomis for continued debate on the school lunch program, Chairman Morris Henry replied,
How about free matches and a do-it-yourself kit for burning down the school of your choice? I gave you a radio station, and you had the gall to use it against me. You had the gall to attack me politically with my own gift.
Mr. Henry, all our kids did was hold a mirror up to you. Now, if you don't like the image, it's not our fault.
You deliberately edited that program, and my words, to give a false impression and to turn the public against me, and you cannot deny that.
Would you like a rebuttal? We'll be happy to give you the time.
No, thank you. I do not wish to appear on your station. Now, gentlemen, let me make one thing perfectly clear. Game time is over. I'm going to return here at 3 o'clock, and at that time, I want every one of those tapes placed in my hands.
Don't give me any ultimatums, Morris.
All right, let's put it another way, Seymour. There are 8 other high schools in this district which are begging for radio facilities. The decision is yours.
Mr. Kaufman, there are a few calls.
Will you hold the calls for Pete's sake? Oh. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry.
Well, do we give him the tapes?
We don't. We lose the station. I hate to lose that station.
But the man's wrong. You know what kind of man he is.
I know. I wish I didn't also know that you've been an outspoken critic of his ever since the election.
You think that I'm using that station to attack him?
Hadn't crossed my mind. Are you?
No. I'd like to, but I'm not. You see, I didn't put those words in that man's mouth.
Oh, yeah, Pete, but you know what you can do with tape editing. You know how you can make a man look. Your students edited that tape, and you okayed the final product. You know that if there's any doubt, if you were using those tapes to ruin him politically, you got no right to run them.
You may find this hard to understand, but I've decided to cancel the rest of the series.
I don't get it, Mr. Dixon. Here we done something, not just talk about it, but done something to show the public what's going on. And you're telling us that's wrong.
Not wrong, Jason. Just one-sided.
Translated, that means you're free until you disagree?
No. What it means is that I'm not sure we didn't edit out a little something called objectivity and edit in our own personal feelings about Mr. Henry. I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to me, too.
Look at it this way. There'll be other programs.
Why bother? They'll just shoot us down again. We know how it is, Mr. Dixon. The classroom's one thing, but the big bad world, that's something else.
Well, for what it's worth, I'm sorry. But I'll be back here at 3 o'clock to pick up the tapes.
Well, you know what they say. Sometimes we all have to compromise our ideals a little. You know, live to fight another day and all that.
With the disappearance of the buffalo, the Indians' days were numbered. Though many dreamt of the buffalo's return, it was only a dream.
Thank you, Larry. Any questions? Jason?
This isn't about the buffalo. It's about something you said the other day when we were talking about who we can believe.
Go ahead.
Well, the way I interpret what you said is that we got these different loyalties to our parents, to our school, to our country, our job.
That's right.
But sometimes it don't jive. So what I'm trying to say is this. If our first loyalty is to us, and your first loyalty is to you, then you got to do what you got to do. And we got to do what we got to do, right?
That's right. Providing you're willing to pay the price. And there usually is one. Oh, Jason. What are you driving at?
I just want to make sure I got the whole message, man.
There you are, Dixon. I'm sure by now you realize what an unkind thing you were trying to do to me. I don't apologize. I just want you to remember one day that it was I who saved you from the worst pitfall in the teaching profession. Ivory tower politics.
I don't believe it.
What's that supposed to mean?
After everything that's happened, you're still trying to get my vote.
Thank you. Thank you. Boys and girls, I understand you have some tapes to turn over to me.
Tapes?
What tapes?
The school board tapes Mr. Dixon told you to have here by 3.
I thought he told you, Helen.
Not me. Well, didn't he tell you, Pam?
Oh, that's right. I did have them, but I was late for my Hey, Larry, I gave those to you.
Oh, those tapes. Well, I put them right here. Somebody must have moved them.
Moved them? Copped them. I swear, Mr. Henry, you just can't trust nobody these days.
All right, there, son. I guess the play period is over, and unless those tapes are put in my hands inside of 1 minute, you'll never work in this district again.
Suppose I tell you that we're thinking of making copies of those tapes and handing them over to the biggest station in this town.
You wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. But if we did, you'd have a much rougher time muzzling them, wouldn't you?
This is your KWWH on the spot where it's hot newscaster, Racing Jason, bringing you this live debate. Switch it, baby.
Do you know what you're doing? You could get expelled for this.
Like the man said, if you're willing to pay the price.
But those remarks were made in jest. I mean, your program makes it sound like I don't want those kids to have decent food.
Do you? Do you really care about the kids who can't afford lunch?
Of course I care. I'm a responsible elected official. But I will not condone freeloaders and massive handouts and irresponsible behavior. That's all.
We gave you a chance to make a rebuttal on the air. You wouldn't take it.
Of course I wouldn't. I have the privilege of choosing the forums for my public appearances, and this Mickey Mouse high school radio station is not... My...
We paused in our debate to bring you this musical interlude.
You knew we were on the air.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Henry, I didn't.
As for you, Kaufman, I want to make this crystal clear. You are going to walk the plank.
Morris, if I get one more ultimatum from you, one more threat to get rid of me, I'm going to jump at the opportunity.
You don't have to jump.
If you will be quiet for a moment, you just might learn that for some reason I will never understand. The gods have chosen to smile on you again. You've come up smelling like a rose from this thing.
What does that mean?
That means that my switchboard has been jammed with calls all day from people that heard the noon broadcast and are dying to hear more.
You crucified me, sir.
I wish I had, Morris. Unfortunately, only half of those people thought that there was anything suspect in your behavior at all. The other half thought that we were the villains for treating you so badly. In fact, even right now, while you were on the air, there were people calling, impressed with your willingness to face your attackers head on.
You don't say. Well, where's the microphone? And now, my fellow citizens, in summation, I should like to add that I salute your continued interest in the workings of the school board. I also want to salute these dedicated young people here in this high school and in this radio station who have reminded all of us that the greatest heritage we have in this country, the greatest freedom, is the freedom of speech. And now, before I return to my lonely chambers to toil the long night through with the members of the board,
Before we begin with the team reports, I think we ought to clear the air a little bit after the fireworks.
Fireworks? It felt more like war to me, and we lost.
Just the battle, Jason, not the war.
How you figured that?
Well, I think we learned a little bit about politics, and I think Mr. Henry may have learned what to expect from future voters.
I bet you one thing. We did a number on his head he will not forget.
I think you're right, Pam. Oh, Kim, why don't you tell us what's been going on at the city council meetings?
You think the school board's got a problem. Wait till you hear these tapes.
Sir, you know all those souvenir books we're selling to the Indians too?
Herbie, I'm a little busy this
I'm
morning.
down to 2. Really 1, because I'm going to go for the last one myself. Even though $3 is like 50% of my weekly income.
That's a very commendable sacrifice, Herbie.
Well, it's an act of love, and it's only $3. It'll make you feel good. Makes me feel good.
Herbie, how many times this semester have you made me feel good like this?
Being a beautiful person has to cost something, right? Thank you very much, Mr. Cobb.
Herbie? That was a 5 I gave you.
I'm sorry. You don't mind silver, do you?
Sorry about all the silver. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Looks like Herbie scored with 3 second-to-last books today.
Make that 4.
Yeah, we all fell for it.
That kid is amazing. Well, one consolation, he's going to have to spend half his weekly wages to buy the last copy.
He's a beautiful person.
And being a beautiful person has to cost something, right?
Right.
I don't know how to tell you this, Mr. Kaufman, but it looks like your metal shop has gone into business.
Went into business? What do you mean?
Well, George Davis, a friend of mine, told me he paid for materials, and your kids did all the body work and the painting.
On what?
His car. Good job, I saw it. But gee, this last month, I know I lost 5, maybe 6 jobs to your free fender clinic.
Jimmy, that's bad news. There are definite rules about that. You have every right to complain. We're not here to put you out of business.
I feel like a fink.
No, absolutely not. Do you have a phone number for Mr. Davis?
Yeah.
Thank you. Excuse me. Hello, Bonnie. Would you get me 558-6548, please? Well, you don't have one line? Okay, keep trying.
Here's my point. The government's whole system of competitive bidding is putting it where it's at. It's dealing with reality.
Pam?
Look, it seems to me that if you get a contract by making a low bid and you know it can't be done at that cost, that is dishonest.
Right. Long, big business is never that simple.
Why not? A lie is a lie.
So you think big business is a lie, huh? Does anybody else have any opinions on the subject? Bernie?
Yes, sir.
Competitive bidding. What's your opinion?
Well, I think we need more facts. Sir always say, get the facts, then decide.
Good stall, Bernie, but not good enough. May I have that, please?
Oh, you mean this? Well, it's mine, sir.
What are you trying to do, sell it?
Oh, no, sir. I was just lending it to him. I'd never sell that chronometer. It was given to me by my Aunt Clara.
Oh, your Aunt Clara.
Sort of a family heirloom, sir. I'll take that home and keep it in the family, sir. Here's the point, Larry. You have a project. You do it for the grade, right?
Right.
And you buy your own materials at a discount, right?
Right.
So once you get your grade, what do you do with the project, Larry?
Keep it or give it to someone.
Larry, what would guys like you do without guys like me?
Stay out of trouble, I think.
Larry, people pay big money for stereo cabinets and end tables. Big money. And you make them for nothing.
I make them to learn how to make them.
Good, good. So learn on someone else's time. How many end tables can you make in a month?
4, 5, working after school.
Go for 8. I'll give you $5 each over the cost of your materials.
And how much you gonna get for him?
What's the difference? My profit is small. I do this for love.
Oh, and when it comes to hustling, nobody loves better than you. Mr. Kaufman want to see you in his office.
Thanks. Peace, brothers, peace.
Yeah, profit, brother, profit.
You're not even in auto shop. What are you doing soliciting these jobs?
I was just helping.
Helping whom?
Students, teachers, anyone I can.
Oh, I see. Oh, you mean these are all Walt Whitman students and teachers here, is that right?
Well, the regulations say that a teacher can get his car fixed. So I figure any teacher at any school. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fair to the teachers at grade schools or junior highs where they don't have auto shop. True?
Oh, it must be true if you say so, Herbie. Excuse me, this, where is he? Mr. Davis here. Now, is he a school teacher?
Davis. I can't place the name, sir, but if he's on that list, I must have thought he was eligible. I mean, I know the regulations, sir.
Oh, I'll bet you do, Herbie. I'll bet you have them all memorized.
Okay, that's all.
Sorry, Mr. Dixon. I guess you must have called between 10 and 11.
Why between 10 and 11?
That's when it seems to get the most busy.
Is there something wrong with the switchboard? Every time I pick up the phone in the teacher's lounge, the circuits are all busy.
We've had a busy day, Miss Johnson.
Well, how am I supposed to order tickets for the drama club?
Well, maybe when the phone's clear, I could send a telegram.
Well, send a bird. Oh, I can't believe it.
I can see already this is one of those days. What's going on out here?
That's what I'd like to know. Debbie Burton's mother sent me a note saying she's been trying to call me for 2 days, but the lines are always busy.
Excuse me. Bonnie, have you been picking up all of these?
Mr. Considine called Mr. Emery regarding American Legion program. Herbie called Mr. Ross about cedar chess. Does Mr. Considine know if the print shop has any Hebraic characters?
Please, I read them. Bonnie, this is it. From now on, I don't want you to accept any more messages for Herbie Considine. I'd like you to tell that to all the other girls that work the board, please.
Yes, Mr. Kaufman, I'm sorry. We were just trying to help. Herbie does so much good, you know?
Oh, yes, I know. Do you have that phone number for Mr. Davis?
Oh, it's right here.
Would you try to get it for me now, please? Pete, come on in.
What's with Herbie Considine?
I don't know, but I tell you something. I'm going to find... Excuse me. Hello. Oh, Mr. Davis, yes. This is Seymour Kaufman over at Walt Whitman High School. I wanted to ask you about that car you had repaired in our body shop. Uh-huh. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. No. All the bills are final. What was the total on that bill, please? Mm-hmm. And were there any additional charges? Uh-huh. Oh, yes, he is. He's a great little hustler. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very... oh, by the way, do you happen to be a school teacher, Mr. Davis? I see. Well, thank you very much. Bye-bye. Herbie had Mr. Davis' car fixed in the body shop.
And Mr. Davis is not a teacher or employee.
How'd you guess?
I'm psychic. Herbie cut himself in for a piece of the action, right?
Cost was $25 for Herbie.
Well, there's one kid who's getting something out of school.
Oh, yes, between woodworking, print shop, ceramics, a few other odds and ends, it's a living.
Probably a very good one. Low overhead, too.
Not funny.
Who's laughing?
One thing about Herbie's escapades, we get to see his father. It's so seldom.
That's for your benefit, Mr. Kaufman. It's supposed to suggest that Herbie wouldn't have these moral lapses if I exercised my visitation rights.
Or paid some child support.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about Herbie.
Well, fine. What's the problem?
Well, the problem seems to be that Herbie's in, some gray areas. Taking that money from Mr. Davis, for example.
Well, I don't see why that's any different.
Would you let him finish? Let somebody finish.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were listening.
All I want to say is that Herbie's a very bright boy, but his whole adjustment seems to be beat the system.
So what's wrong with that?
Some people find it morally reprehensible.
Yeah, the dropouts.
You still dismember like a professional, my dear.
Oh, you talk so good. It's too bad the money's never where the mouth is.
Mrs. Considine. Mr. Considine. I think we better take a good look at where Herbie is headed before it's too late.
I have no influence with him. I've tried.
There he goes. Retreat.
You two want to talk about your son.
Herbie can take care of himself. Nobody needs to worry about Herbie.
I'm providing a service. I never asked for money.
Oh, Herbie, for Pete's sake.
People get a fee for their time and trouble in the real world. Money is where it's at. Thing is, I can't decide if I want to be a used car salesman or a brain surgeon.
And I tell you how it's going to be. When you're out in the real world, you let your conscience be your guide. But while you're in our little sandbox here, I don't want you to have anything more to do with the body shop, the switchboard, the print shop, or any other enterprises your fertile brain might initiate. Understood?
You're the boss, Mr. Kaufman, sir.
Herbie,
Oh, hi, Mr. Dixon.
What's up?
Just been sitting here meditating, sir.
Meditating.
Yes, sir. You know, sometimes a guy's got to take a long, quiet look at himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, what'd you come up with?
I'm clean, Mr. Dixon. I mean, Mr. Kaufman has lowered the boom on me as if I was some kind of a criminal. I'm not. But because I'm a kid, I don't have the same kind of rights that other people do.
Oh, I see. So you've been sitting here meditating on your civil rights, huh?
I figured you'd understand my feelings, Mr. Dixon. Maybe you'll talk to Mr. Kaufman for me.
What shall I talk to him about, Herbie? You were skimming, chiseling, cutting yourself in?
I was succeeding. That's why he came down on me.
No, Herbie. He came down on you because you took $25 from Mr. Davis, so quit kidding yourself.
I was providing a service. If someone wants to give me a tip, I have a right to accept.
Tell me something, Herbie. Did you split that tip with the kids who did the actual work? The kids in the body shop? No, Herbie, I don't think you did. You just exploited them, and you know it. So you'd better think about it.
Bonnie.
Yes, Miss Johnson?
Take all of these tickets out of the rack, okay?
Aren't they for the show?
No, the whole set's out of register. Print shop had to do them over.
They look all right. Don't they, Herbie?
Yeah.
Let me see those. Here. Some of them are okay, but on most of them, the printing didn't even hit the cardboard. It's just easier to run off a whole new set.
Bonnie, I think you better destroy this set, okay?
Yes, Miss Lane.
We're done with the announcements now, Miss Johnson. Can I go?
Well, yeah. Unless you want to stay and help some more.
No, I don't want to stay and help some more.
My, another beautiful person heard from.
I'm sorry, but I'm not doing anything for this rotten school that I don't have to do.
Oh, come on, Herbie. You were sharpshooting and you got caught. Don't blame the school.
Why not? I'm supposed to be some kind of a criminal, aren't I?
No, Herbie, nobody thinks that.
The faculty does.
Well, I'm the faculty, and I don't think you're a criminal. Look, Herbie, you've got exceptional gifts for organizing, promoting, and selling. We all know it. But your energies need channeling. Tell you what, why don't you come by my office later and we'll talk about it?
It's a waste of time, Miss McIntyre.
Why?
I'm a one-man operation. I have to call my own shots.
Herbie, you keep talking about the real world. But when you get out there, you're going to find out that no one is a one-man operation.
She's right, Herbie. You know, you have so much to give, and we could really use your help. In fact, you could take over the ticket sales.
You sure could. They're going in the red, and they could use the Considine magic touch.
Herbie?
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I don't want to be in charge, but I'll take 500 tickets.
You what?
You're going to sell 500 tickets?
Yeah, how much do they go for?
$2.50.
I guarantee you $3.50. Is that beautiful enough?
It's super beautiful.
How?
The magic Considine touch.
Who are you?
Herbie Considine. And you are Mr. Gerard.
Yes, that's right. I mean, are you in the show?
No, sir. The reason I'm doing this, sir, is because this is my last year in school, and unless plays like this can pay their own way, this will be the end. Budget cuts, you know. Now, we can always get money for the dopers and the dropouts, but we've got 120 good, clean kids really involved in this. And we figure our faculty has got to set an example.
Oh, is everyone buying them?
Who could refuse?
Oh, well, I mean, if it's expected,
Thank you very much, Mr. Gerard. You have a real first-rate attitude.
Oh, thank you. Anytime.
Well, did you sell a stack for us, Bernie?
Well, I took 10 and I sold 4. 6 tickets, $10.
Dang, I took 10 and sold 2.
Oh, I didn't sell any.
I know it, man. Everybody's broke.
Well, how does it look, huh?
Dismal.
Herbie's doing good. He's got every hustler in the school selling tickets for him.
How do you suppose he does that?
Got me, but if I figure it out, I ain't snitching.
I have a lot of tickets to return.
Oh, Herbie. Not you too.
I'm sorry. Here are the 78 I couldn't move. And here is my personal check for the 422 tickets that I sold.
You're kidding.
Herbie! You sold 422 tickets?
The dude got talent, real talent.
It's like a full house, huh?
Hi, Pete.
Hi.
Say, Pete. Could I trouble you for a minute?
Sure, Jeff.
I'm a bit confused. Maybe you can help me out. These seats are occupied.
Well, why don't you try an usher?
Well, I hate to disturb anyone. I mean, these seats are occupied by a couple with a set of tickets exactly like this. The same color, the same row, the same seat number. I do hate making a fuss.
There must be some mistake.
Oh, sure. That's what it is.
These 4 tickets are the same as these 4 tickets.
They are?
There are 2 long-haired hippies sitting in our seats.
It's been some kind
My ticket is the same as his ticket, and that's 8 tickets for more.
What's going on? Oh, dear. Oh, boy.
I would like to know, as briefly as possible, what happened.
I honestly don't know, Mr. Kaufman.
That's brief. All right. How many duplicate tickets were there?
18, wasn't it, Bonnie?
I don't remember exactly.
In any case, you were supposed to destroy them.
All right. 18 duplicate tickets, and somebody sold them. That's $45, right?
That's right.
Well, why beat around the bush? Who's responsible?
Mr. Kaufman, it was my fault. I'm class treasurer. I shouldn't have left those tickets lying around.
Bonnie, you left them lying around, but you didn't take them, did you?
What's the difference? It's still my responsibility.
Let me ask you one more question. Do you have any idea who did take them?
No, Mr. Kaufman, I don't.
Herbie? Do you?
Why ask me first? There were plenty of other kids in that ticket office.
Well, I sure didn't get them.
I don't know nothing about it.
I didn't take them.
Okay. That's it. Whitman High has been had for $45.
Mr. Kaufman, it was my responsibility. I'll make up the money. And I think I should resign as class treasurer.
Oh, wow.
The treasurer's supposed to be responsible for other people's money. And I wasn't.
Hey, we can always raise more money.
Herbie, money is not the most important part of this situation. Do you understand that?
Hey, dummy.
How'd you figure you'd get away with it, Herbie?
Well, I sold tickets to a lot of merchants who usually don't show up for these things. This time they did. Why'd you cover for me?
Because some people are beautiful people. Even when they're bad guys.
Amazing. You were the last one I would have suspected.
I guess you knew it all along.
Well, Herbie, they say confession's good for the soul. You feel better?
Not much. What are you going to do to me?
Well, unfortunately, you see, the rack and the wheel and the Iron Maiden are all out of style now. So we're going to start with a month's detention. After you pay back the $45.
No sweat. I'll do that easy.
Bet you will.
Frederick Douglass Pam and Helen's doing Harriet Tubman. Jason, who have you got?
I got Whittier, Lowell, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Harriet Beecher Stowe.
You mean you intend to cover all of the abolition literature of 4 writers by tomorrow?
Not me alone. I'm gonna do a team report.
Hey, that's a good idea. Who are the others?
Larry and Herbie.
Me? First I knew about it. I've got things to do tonight.
You sure do, because Emerson wrote a whole bunch of stuff about independence and being a man and answering to your own conscience. And the reason I chose you, Herbie, is I figure you're a natural expert on the subject.
Very good choice, Jason. Herbie, I can hardly wait to see your report tomorrow.
But I've got things to do tonight.
Of course, if you can't cut it, then we just have to find somebody else. Let me see.
No, I can cut it. I can cut it easy. It's just that I've been had.
I don't know what you mean by that. Everybody knows you can't count on this man, Herbie.